Hello, hello! Welcome to Draw Tip Tuesday. Today is a little bit different than you're used to, and I hope you like it. It's kind of hard to believe that just a couple weeks ago I was on the beach on a tropical island, but I have proof because I filmed while I was drawing my view on that beach, especially for you. So here it is. My last few days here in Thailand, I am already sort of not gearing up because I am getting so much rest and I feel so peaceful, and so it's so good to be away from everything. And now I am going to, of course, draw, and I don't have anything to set up for a tripod or anything, and hopefully you can just sort of come along with me then. Okay, this is the view that I will be drawing. This is at the resort that we were staying in, and there's a few people still having breakfast. And I'm starting with my brush pen. I am doing that because, well, the view can be sort of overwhelming. So if I use a brush pen, then at least it feels very organic and I cannot go into detail. And that just helps me to get going. I'm starting with the bar that is in the back of the view at the other side of the breakfast area that is in the middle of the beach. And the roof of that bar is very typical of the roofs here. So I thought I'll start with that. There are chairs and tables in front. So I'm drawing a few of those, but I'm not sure if I really want to draw all of them. And since there are still people sitting there having breakfast, I'm quickly drawing them, even though they will not recognize themselves probably. But just quickly drawing figures in, I think will really help to give some life to the view that I'm drawing. And now that I'm looking at this view, there's beautiful trees right in front of me, but there are also a lot of palm trees on this island. And I really want to add a palm tree to this drawing. So if I look at my left over my shoulder, I can actually see a palm tree there. It's leaning the other way, so this actually really needs a little bit of imagination. You can't really go wrong, can you? It is so recognizable, especially if you add a little bit of texture on the bark of the tree. It's those figures in the front, I need to finish a little bit more of that and also add just a tiny bit of the furniture, and then I'll just do a little bit of texture in the background because it's not about the figures, it's really about the view. This is just a little taste of what I share with my Patreon community. You can try 7 days for free, and the link is in the description below this video. People are passing by on the beach, so I'm trying to draw them quickly, and if I'm not fast enough, I'm not worrying about it because there will be other people that will pass by. There's also a few people in the water, so I'm just quickly drawing a little bit of figures there. I don't need to be accurate at all. What we can see far back, part of the island, because we are in like a curve of the sea, and I'm adding texture for the water. Oh, and as I am drawing now, I am noticing that my ink ran out. And actually, I am just really making use of that, thankfully. I can use the dry brush effect of it by adding a little bit of darker bits. It will give a nice extra texture, and I can indicate where there's shadows. I mean, in the sand, there's a lot of texture and shadow, and you can't really draw that. But with a dry brush, you can actually do a lot indicating. So I'm really happy that this is happening right at this very moment. And it also kind of gives me the cue that I want to add color. So what I'll do first, I am using a white non-water soluble crayon and also one that is blue. And because it's waxy, it will resist the watercolor that I am adding in a minute. And that will give a lovely shiny effect to the water. I'm also doing that to the lights that are hanging there. They will stand out against the green of the trees. There's a sign also hanging from the tree. I'm sort of messing it up and muddying it up, but I'm doing my best, you know? And I'm just playing around with my crayons. I am trying to limit the colors that I'm using. So I have white, a light yellow, blue, and 2 pinks. And now I'm also adding an orange, and I'm using that purple again to repeat it, because repetition of color makes your drawing have the feeling of cohesion. And now I'll just keep mixing to the green that I already mixed. It's off camera, sorry about that. But I almost forgot that I was filming because I was having so much fun. But you can see that I'm just really alternating and varying my green color, because there's not just one color green, of course, and especially when you're in the jungle. So you can't really go wrong as long as you start light and then you layer with darker on top. Then you can really create a very wonderful layered effect of darks and lights. And you can see how the background is now much darker, and that makes the foreground stand out a lot more. And then of course the barks of the tree, and there's a boat there, and there's some foldable chairs in there, so I'm painting those too. And I'm just really having a little bit of fun with the greens, and then I'm ready to paint the sea. And you can see, even though part of it is off camera, you can see how the wax crayon is resisting the watercolor, and how that makes the blue of the water a shiny effect. If this inspired you to draw, you will love being part of my Patreon. It's where I share even more sketchbook goodness. Mixing a gray for the roof of the bar, and I'm actually deciding to paint the people in front gray as well. Everything in the front on the right hand side is not that important, so I want to tone it down by making it gray. The sand feels a little bit muddy and messy, but I think I can live with that. Now that I have most of my watercolor in, I am adding colored pencil to give even more depth to the color. And with a very light green, I can draw on top of dark green, and that makes the palm leaves stand out a lot. And with all kinds of shades of green that I have, I can add more shades to the green. I almost thought that I was not going to add any color to the sky, because the sky is sort of very light blue in reality, but I am adding just a few strokes of blue to give the indication of this beautiful day on this beautiful island. Now I'm just sort of tinkering with my colored pencils. I think a little bit of orange really adds a lot. I'm just really seriously playing a lot. And I'm done. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe on this channel and join me on Patreon for more.